Welcome back to my booktube channel. Getting right to it, if you've seen parts 1 through 3 for the reviews of the Wildlands, then this is the place to be. With all that said and done, let's get right to the video. Where did we leave off? Let me refresh your memory. Travis and Jess were separated from Tam and Max, then crossed the river on their own, with Jess getting hurt. Supposedly, her head slammed into one of the rocks, so perhaps she had a concussion? We don't really know. Travis and Jess were then followed by grandma-aged sisters Ellen and Wendy, who gave them food and water and shelter, and it was determined that Jess would be totally okay. So my fears were put to rest then. And then Travis and Jess were now leaving Ellen and Wendy to go search for Tam and Max once more. And if you were wondering why I keep looking down, it's because I have another list of notes to talk about in this booktube video. What is happening to Travis and Jess in part 4 of the Wildlands right now? So Travis and Jess left Ellen and Wendy. Now they're searching for Tam and Max once more. Travis and Jess are then captured by a controlling in all ways group of people, perhaps a cult, where the girls of childbearing age are married off to old men, if you get what I mean. And Travis is worried as heck about Jess because she's only 10 years old. And in Game of Thrones terms, if a girl has had her blood, then she is fit to be a parent. I was so freaked out with that scene that I actually had to put the book down and stop reading it for about 30 seconds before I picked it up again and mentally prepared myself, okay, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Anyway, Travis and Jess find out that Dylan is still alive, which is too bad. And we also find out that he was leading them to the cult the entire time. I mean, it was all a plot so he could somehow get them under his control, and that was just psycho, really. In the cult, Travis and Jess are reunited with Tam and Max, and they pretend not to know each other for their own safety, even though Dylan might have snitched on them already to the leader of the cult, who was his psycho dad's close friend, pre all of this stuff happening right now. What did I like about the Wildlands Part 4? I loved how Travis and Jess were reunited with Tam and Max, even if they were all captured by the same cult. I loved how Travis and Jess and Tam and Max escaped the cult. Epic plan, Travis. I am totally into your plan. I would have followed it tenfold. It was so well written, and I highly recommend you read this book because this is just so entertaining. I have almost nothing bad to say about it. Moving on, I do not condone any unnecessary violence. However, sometimes it is necessary. The scene where Travis killed Dylan finally was perfect. I have nothing bad to say about that scene because Travis was such a great character and Dylan was written in such an evil way that you just loved to hate him. If that makes any sense at all. It makes sense to me, so that's what I'm going with. I also loved how Chyna was introduced. Y'all gotta have a dog in some sort of epic survival fiction book, or else it's not that great of a fiction book anyway. That part isn't necessarily true, but I always think that if there's an end-of-the-world story, you need to have a pet in it at least once. I also loved how Travis and Tam finally got together. Even though they're not the official boyfriend-girlfriend title, they still have a romance that's blossoming into a sequel if there is ever one made. And if there is a sequel to The Wildlands, then I will definitely read it because I want to know what happens between Travis and Tam. I also loved the open-ended ending to the possibility of more to come. Travis and Jess, Tam and Max possibly walking to the outpost like they've been doing the past 100 miles. That would just be another beginning to another epic tale. What did I dislike about Part 4 of the Wildlands? The control aspects of the cult. Now, if you know me, you know that control is a huge trigger for me. It always has been, and I can't always figure out why, but if somebody tries controlling every aspect of my life, then I have a huge problem with it, and then the internal desire for punching people comes into play. Not that I ever act on that. The problem that I had with the cult, besides everything, to be more specific, I had a huge problem with the cult wanting to marry Jess off to an old man before she becomes of the childbearing age, which creeps the heck out of Travis and me because Jess is 10 years old. Children should not be having children. Final notes. About the concept of arranged marriages that the cult has, I would rather never be married to anyone for the rest of my life than allow myself to be married off to someone I didn't choose out of love. I also thought that the scene with the cult reminded me of The Silence by Tim Levin. I am definitely going to be watching The Silence on Netflix right after I finish recording and editing this video. I also really loved how the ending of the book could also be the beginning to a sequel. So if there is ever a sequel, I will definitely be reading it. And I will definitely be making a bunch of booktube videos all about the Wildlands series by Paul Greci because it is such a great survival fiction, dystopian fiction, science fiction series that I think everyone should read at least once in their life. That is all for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my booktube channel to get more videos like this, turn those notifications on to be notified when I have a brand new video uploaded. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone!